views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Brother Mike, back on the radio. Welcome to Filthy Fridays. May God richly bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Today's Bible study. Joe Jackson is dead. Lots to learn from his interesting life. What a fascinating person he was. Thanks for tuning in to the radio program. This is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor from the Arizona Deliverance Center. The website is hardcorechristianity.com. All of our ministry services are there. On the website, you'll see we have 2 live services every week, Thursdays and Fridays. Notice our services do not conflict with normal church services with other places in the valley. We did that deliberately. We are not a church. We're a healing center. We're not trying to get you to leave your church. We're trying to be an adjunct to your church. An adjunct blessing. Yeah, sounds like a legal term, doesn't it? 7 p.m. Pacific time, every Friday and Thursday night, preaching, healing, teaching, and deliverance at every service. I teach on Fridays for my radio listeners. Sign up for the free seminar, Satan's Secrets Part 2. When you go to the website, hit the PayPal button and send us another donation. Thank you very much. 16 years you've been supporting us. Never been late on a radio payment. Thanks to you. We're on social media, Hardcore Christianity group on Facebook, Blessings group on Facebook. Go to the Blessings page and take a testimony, a healing testimony, and send it to somebody who's needing encouragement now. Would you please? If you're getting ready to list or sell your house, Sister Karen would be happy to help you. She loves working with born-again Christians for obvious reasons. Thank you for all your support over the last 16 years. Joe Jackson is dead. JJ's gone. Who's Joe Jackson? Well, you know who he is. He's Michael Jackson's dad. This person was absolutely fascinating to me because he illustrates some deep spiritual principles. I've done several radio programs over the years on the spirit of rejection. This powerful spirit is sent to every dysfunctional family in America by Satan. And this spirit gets into the mind of the child. And as soon as the spirit enters the child's mind through neglect, through abuse, through extreme disappointment, he must have an opening to enter. When he gets that opening, he enters the child's brain and he begins to morph that child's personality. He develops deep-seated low self-esteem and low self-concept and self-loathing. This rejection demon then lets in other spirits, usually fear, usually lust, and later on in life, a spirit of infirmity. And this rejection spirit dominates the person throughout their entire lives. Joe Jackson had a huge spirit of rejection that he got hit with in childhood. He lived in a very dysfunctional family with a very stern, aggressive, and verbally abusive father. Here's the article that came out of the paper, quote, JJ, the domineering father and manager who molded his sons into the immensely popular Jackson 5 and helped launch Michael Jackson's career, and his daughter Janet Jackson, he launched their careers before alienating all of them because of his abusive behavior. He died in Las Vegas at the age of 89, and he died, in fact, just last week. Quote, the Clark County Coroner's Office in Nevada confirmed the death but did not say when or precisely where he died. The celebrity news website TMZ said he died early Wednesday morning. He had a home in Las Vegas. He had been hospitalized for several days with terminal cancer, according to the news reports. Now, JJ, or Joseph Walter Jackson, he was born in 1928 in Fountain Hills, Arkansas, not Arizona, Arkansas. He was the oldest of 5 children. His dad's name was Samuel. His mother's name was Crystal. His father was a high school teacher, and he was a very strict, hardcore disciplinarian. Verbally abusive, verbally aggressive, and was repetitively a user of corporal punishment. He would whip the kids with belts when the situation required it, and then some. In addition, his father had lust demons and was a serial adulterer. Remember this information for later in poor Joe's life. This spirit entered him along with the spirit of rejection, and the results of it were devastating as when he became an adult. Joe's parents divorced when he was a teenager. It was a very difficult and stressful divorce. Lots of fighting, lots of heartache. He went with his mother and moved to Indiana. He worked as a crane operator and an unsuccessful rhythm and blues musician when he was young, and he was always broke, and he was financially struggling all the time, raising his wife, Catherine, and their 9 children. So you can see Joe did the exact same thing his dad did. He was a stern disciplinarian. He was very rigid, had a temper, very aggressive verbally, and he had lots of kids. He loved rhythm and blues music, but he wasn't any good at it. But he noticed that his children were exceptionally gifted musically. And when he noticed that, he saw a way to get out of his own poverty and the dump that they lived in Gary, Indiana. And it was Joe Jackson that developed the Jackson 5, and he was the one who managed the group and brought them to international fame, sensation, and financial glory. In addition, he helped launch the solo careers of Michael and Janet, who became gasping, shocking multimillionaires. But Joe was also not good with money. He made a lot of money through his family, but he was not good at investing it or managing it. In 1970, the group had been around for only a year and had 4 number 1 hits. One of them was I Want You Back. The other one's ABC. The other one is The Love You Save. The fourth one was I'll Be There. You remember those songs. They were spectacular. They were all over everywhere, the radio and television. It was utterly amazing. The brothers Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Michael had numerous hits in the 1970s. Michael, of course, was the lead singer, and Michael Jackson was one of the most gifted entertainers and musicians in the history of the world. Michael Jackson had freakish singing and dancing and entertaining skills like almost no other. He's right up there with Sammy Davis Jr., Elvis Presley, and a few others. That's an elite group in that among those people. And of course, all those people, the devil tortured all of them. They died terrible deaths. But Joe Jackson, as you know, alienated his family. And when they all grew up, they rejected him. But they took up the same demons Joe Jackson got from his dad: rejection and lust. All Michael Jackson's brothers were serial adulterers. His dad, Joe Jackson, had numerous affairs and did not hide the affairs from the boys. So the boys by nature picked up the same demons Joe had, and they also became promiscuous. Michael Jackson, because of the spirit of rejection, had a horrible life and numerous broken relationships, sorrow, misery, and heartache. He had lust demons that caused him to drift toward pedophilia and homosexuality. He struggled with it his entire life. He had numerous scandals involving children. The whole family was incredibly dysfunctional, but it all started with Joe Jackson's dad. He's the one that let these spirits into the family, and Joe Jackson was like his dad. He became emotionally distant and physically abusive. Michael had a terrible love-hate relationship with his father and spent millions of dollars on plastic surgery to keep from looking like his dad. Michael completely changed his facial appearance, and the reason for it was because he didn't want to look like his father. The whole situation was heartbreaking and extremely sad. In addition to all of it, the Jacksons, Joe Jackson and his wife, the mother of the Jackson kids, 9 of them, got involved with a satanic cult, Jehovah's Witnesses. In 1983, Michael talked the family into firing Joe as their manager. They finally got rid of him. And just before Michael died of a drug overdose in 2009, he had a meeting with his father. You know what the last thing they talked about? Money. Michael Jackson had cut his father out of his will. And Joe Jackson was dying broke. The spirit of rejection always takes the person on a long roller coaster ride of life's miseries. He lets in other spirits, such as lust and greed, sexual lust, alcohol, drugs, gambling, material things. Michael Jackson had powerful spirits of rejection that caused him to completely change his face. He had horrible lust demons from his dad. He coveted material things and spent almost all of his money, believe it or not, several $100 million was squandered by Michael Jackson. It's a story that defies any form of logic and appears to be completely fabricated, but it was not. It's a spiritual story, a journey of powerful satanic forces from the Jehovah's Witnesses, from his father's stern, abusive, verbal discipline, and the beatings he took, let these powerful spirits into this family. If you have any of these symptoms, and you sense you may have a rejection spirit, you're eligible for free counseling services at the Arizona Deliverance Center, 602-636-5800. If you're a born-again Christian, there is no charge for the counseling services. You can be healed in confidence. You can be delivered in confidence. God wants to help you. Your family doesn't have to end up like the pathetic Jacksons. The devil destroyed that family with misery and heartache that cannot be described. You do not have to go through that.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.